Well.
Well.
Would you look at this? We're back.
Finally.
It took us a little while, but we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Black Bear Barbell Podcast. It's fun to say that. As you can see, we are in a different space.
Yeah.
Because it was like a dungeon recording down where I normally record, and I wanted to get a little bit of a little fresh taste on the podcast. So we are going to we're going to try and do this a lot.
Yeah.
Once a week again, until I inevitably get bored.
No, we're going to do it.
Okay. Sarah's really into the podcast.
I enjoy doing the podcast. I don't know why. I just really like it.
I like doing the podcast, but I feel like we kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. So
that's fair.
This iteration, we're going to do a little bit more segments. We're going to do some relationship advice. We're going to do some fitness general advice. I'm taking the questions from Reddit, but we also want to open the floor to you guys. If you have any relationship questions or fitness questions, Sarah and I have been together for a long time, so we can give our perspective on relationships. Obviously, I'm a personal trainer. You work in the health space, so we can give some interesting insight in some fitness and mental health questions if you want. Obviously, none of this is legal advice.
Or health advice.
Right.
We don't know you.
We're just kind of shooting the breeze, talking a little bit. Hopefully, we say some stuff that may help you get through a difficult time in your life.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what we want to do.
Yeah.
What have you been up to since we've taken a break?
I think the biggest thing is that I start. Are you okay?
No, these chairs are miserable.
Yeah. Not only are we in a new space, we also got some new furniture to fit the space.
It's big boy season right now. I gained about 50 pounds.
Well, and this is not a big boy space.
Nope. Nor is this a big boy chair.
It looks a lot nicer. We have a nice background. We have nice daylight, but it's not a big boy space. So we're going to get used to it.
I hope so, because right now I am not feeling good.
Well, you look great.
Thank you. So anyway,
I started a new job.
Congratulations.
In the new year. Thank you. And it's been really great.
Yes.
It's been a good change. I miss all my old coworkers, but I get to work from home now, which...
No more coffee driving?
No more coffee driving. Now I just coffee, sit on the couch.
You sit in your bed.
Most
I was about to
times.
say, don't lie to the people. You sit in your bed.
I coffee in bed now. And you know what?
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's great.
Yeah.
Every day I get to sit in bed and drink some coffee and read a little bit to start my day.
Right.
The traffic on the staircase up to my office is never as bad as it is on the interstate here in Atlanta.
I refuse to allow you to start making dad jokes. We don't even have kids.
I have always made dad jokes. This is not new. But yeah, it's been great. I have a very supportive team, very supportive manager, because it's a totally different job than what I've ever done. So it's been a great change.
Well, I will say that I have seen a great change in your mental health and just your general happiness. I know that you really liked therapy, but
I love it. And I still go back and do therapy.
But I think it was definitely time to kind of find something else, see how you felt, and where you're really lucky that it turned out to be something that you really enjoy straight off the bat. So
I feel very lucky.
That's really cool. I appreciate you being a little bit more happy.
Yes.
Not selfishly, just I like to see you when you're happy. And
I appreciate that.
You had kind of lost a little bit of that zhuzh, but
you're
back.
I think anybody who's watching this who has worked in healthcare can talk and speak to the level of burnout that has become very common. I mean, COVID,
especially in the past couple of years.
COVID is not such a thing in the community at large like it was, but it is still very much an issue and something that's dealt with constantly every day in inpatient healthcare settings, hospitals, rehabs, inpatient rehab hospital,
which was where you were,
which is where I was. Yeah. And so it's really not very different from how it was in the beginning. There's a lot more knowledge. It's not as maybe as scary as it was when COVID was totally unknown, but it's still a huge part of day to day, and there isn't an end in sight. And so I think that's a big player in burnout in healthcare. But yeah, it's not an easy job. A lot of times it is very rewarding, but it's not easy. So anyway, that's my feeling.
Well, I'm glad that you're you were able to find something that is still healthcare adjacent, but is something that you can, kind of get out of the therapy world for a little bit.
Yep. But I still do get to do patient care pretty frequently. So I do enjoy that.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Like I said, we're bringing the podcast back a little bit because I have become a little bit disillusioned with social media. Oh man, like
social media is hard.
It's hard, but not like I really enjoy making content. But I wanted to do something long form, which like still in my head, I know nobody's going to watch this long form content because we're so tuned to like just, 10 seconds shorts and reels and TikToks and whatever. And that's totally fine. Right? That's cool. I am also like that. I am not saying that if you enjoy watching reels that your brain is going to ooze out of your ears because you don't have an attention span, because I also am like that. And I feel myself kind of moving away from some of the longer form content myself. So it's a little bit hypocritical for me to say, oh, why is nobody watching my longer form content when I am not watching some of the longer form content that I used to watch? And so I wanted to do this as an excuse for me to put out more longer form content, but also to kind of hopefully be a bridge from the shorter form content that I put out that a lot of other people put out. So you can say, okay, I've watched this reel that talks 30 seconds about, I don't know, caffeine supplementation. 30 seconds is not long enough to even say the word caffeine, So it's like, okay, I saw this. That's really interesting. Now I need to take the next step and go to the longer form content, either text-based or video-based, but not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah. Well, and I know you've been making lots of short form content recently, which is pretty new, a new expansion for you.
Let me tell you, my channel itself has grown pretty exponentially when I started doing short form. I'm not on TikTok yet. I refuse. And
I don't have a TikTok
This is going to come back to bite me because eventually I'm going to get on TikTok. But my God, I just really don't want to be on that platform. I feel like I'm too old to learn a new social media platform.
You're not. We're not old. I'm too old.
We're pushing
for
30.
I know.
We're almost 30. We've got a couple years.
I know that.
It's sad, but it's true.
It's not sad. It's just a new frontier.
Dude, let me tell you, I enjoy being 28 a lot more than I enjoyed being 22.
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes you when you're 23.
Get out of here. I feel like
it's hard to be like, I feel like once you become like a teenager until you get to like 26.
Yeah. You're just
that's a really hard time for everyone.
It's just tough because you're
in varying ways.
Well, you're trying to find your identity and where you fit in and what you employ, and being employed is really tough, and like
making life decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's hard. I think this is a really great age though. My mom always says her favorite age that she ever was 27.
Well, there you go.
It's a great age.
I really like being
27
28.
was great. 28 is great.
I've been having a good couple years.
But yeah, it does feel a little hard to try something new a lot of the time.
So that's the reason why I'm focusing just on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, just generally being in those spaces, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like making the short form content to a certain degree. But part of my brain when I'm making the short form content is like, well, you got to mention this and you've got to mention this outlier and you've got to talk about this. And I've started to realize like fitness specifically, my genre of fitness, usually it's weight loss. Usually it's, those types of things. They're so individual. There's so much baggage that
nuance
oh my gosh, that you as a human being bring to like wanting to make a body composition change that a 30-second reel is not going to give you what you need.
No, it's just the introduction, or it should be the introduction.
But my question to you is how many people are going from that Instagram, or let's just say YouTube? Because the ecosystem is there to go from a YouTube short. I put a card to all of my long form videos on all of my YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
But how many people are watching the YouTube short, seeing the card come up and clicking onto a 5-minute video? I'm not talking about...
Do you have the actual... Do you know the answer? And you want me to guess?
I do. Guess.
2%.
On my channel.
2%.
0.
No way.
I have had no card clicks. And I have put out 40 shorts.
I haven't even... I've watched all your videos.
Exactly. But I average short views between 250 and 5,000. So pretty modest, but with that amount of people, you'd imagine that there would be
out
one
of
person.
5,000 people,
right.
One person.
Zero.
Wow. That's incredible.
But I don't think YouTube wants that. I don't think that they want to, because the algorithm is so important and the scrolling up is so important. I don't think YouTube is really making it clear to people that you can click to a card and say, okay, let's go somewhere else.
If I can be honest, I don't know if I knew that. Exactly. Like I know that I can click on like your name and it'll take me to your channel.
Right.
And I do that sometimes if I see a short that I particularly enjoyed. But I don't think I knew that the card, and I don't want to say that and be like, oh, nobody knows about the cards. I am not a metric for how well people know.
I don't know. I think I
just found it. Okay. When I first started watching YouTube shorts on my phone, I thought that you clicked on it and you watched it and you went back and you clicked on the next one and you only got those 5.
Oh no.
I really thought that for several weeks until I accidentally dropped my phone and like accidentally swiped up. I was like, oh, there's so many more of these. No. So don't take me not knowing something to mean that the population at large.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible metric for.
But I think a lot of people are in the same vein like you. Like I've pulled back the curtain because I'm a creator and also a consumer on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, but I also make a lot of content on YouTube.
You do.
So when I'm watching content in my own head, I'm like, oh, this is getting pretty boring, get snappy. But then when I'm making content, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I can see why people would watch this. But it's the same problems that I'm seeing on other people's videos. So it's really hard to put yourself in both places.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
It does.
So all that to say, the reason that we're making this podcast, which is where we started, welcome back to the Tangent Hour. But the reason we're making this podcast is because I want this to be a place on this specific channel focused mostly on fitness and health, where you can come to get long form answers, where we're going to talk about the nuance of different things in supplementation, in exercise selection, in food selection, all that type of stuff. And hopefully then that will be just another piece of your education. Because at the end of the day, we have these conversations because we like talking to each other.
We do.
But also because we want other people to get something out of this that will hopefully change their life. Right. That's the baseline reason why I have my coaching business, why I do this podcast, why I make these videos, is because I experienced a great change when I took my health into my own hands. And I want other people to experience that same level of change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So for me, it would be a disservice to just put out 20-minute shorts,
20-second
shorts. Yeah. Because I feel like there's so much more and there's so much more depth. So hopefully this will be an area where we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And for somebody who really wants to make a change and wants it enough to research it, you want that, real good information to be available and accessible.
That is a great point, because now that you're saying that, how I'm trying to justify the shorts in the stuff that I'm putting out, that's short form content, because I feel really bad about it, because there's a lot of stuff that's like, it's just clickbait, don't do this, or this exercise is killing you, or something like that. But what's really interesting is when you talk about states of change and being ready to make a change, maybe the short is the initial planting of the idea.
Yeah.
And then you need to see a lot of those until you finally are ready to actually commit to even personally
contemplation.
Exactly. And then going to actually making the choice.
And it's like, oh, I saw this short this one time from this guy, and he had this beard, and it was a good short, and let me see if I can find him again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
And then, so even if they didn't click on your channel from that first short, it might, and you'll never know. There's no way to measure that.
Exactly.
But they might find you later and hopefully find what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And like and subscribe.
That's wild, because I never really thought about that. But again, that's why we have the long form conversations, is because I could work that out myself now. So that's another way for me to just say, you know what, I'm putting these shorts out. Hopefully this will be the little acorn that grows the oak tree, for a lot of these people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, before we move on to the next thing, is what is your relationship with short form content? Do you kind of feel your attention span kind of degrading a little bit like me, or do you feel like it's just another part of your consumption?
That's a great question. I've never been a huge social media consumer.
Yeah.
I think back when I was really dealing with burnout, like just in general, I would kind of get caught in like scrolling, whether it was stories or reels or Instagram. I really did get into reels pretty recently though. So it was more shorts. Once I discovered there were so many of them. I haven't been doom scrolling quite as much lately.
Yeah.
And I do tend to go for more long form things. Like I like to read books. I like to listen to audiobooks. I don't know. I like to do crafts, which tend to be something that you attend to for a long time or long chunks of time.
Right.
I do like short things. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's what I'm primarily attracted to as far as content.
Well, so when you're watching, you don't consume a lot of YouTube, do you?
Not a ton.
Yeah.
I have, I think, like it's either a 45-minute or an hour time limit set on the app on my phone. I often exceed that.
Yeah.
I do watch YouTube to fall asleep.
Okay.
Almost every night.
Okay.
So I probably watch 2 to 3 YouTube videos a day, mostly in the evening.
Okay.
Plus maybe 30 minutes of scrolling through shorts.
So you don't have that same moment. Like for me, I can like step out of myself and see that I'm like losing attention on this 10-minute video and I'm reaching for my phone or I'm going, no. I like, and I've noticed that happening the more that I'm consuming like short form content.
Really?
Yeah, like definitely. That's why this year, Sarah and I are doing a reading challenge this year. And I feel that having that as an outlet for entertainment, like reading a book rather than watching YouTube has been really good because with a book, you have to give it your attention. You have to, it's going to take you a long time. I'm not a fast reader. It takes me a long time to get through stuff. So forcing myself and kind of relearning the ability to give my full attention to something has been really helping. That's another reason why I really like watching foreign movies because I have to read it.
Yeah.
You can't be on your phone.
You can't miss a second.
Exactly. So that's really cool. So, the rest of, if you're wrestling with this type of stuff, I think really like taking a step back and saying, okay, my attention is leaving this piece of content that I've gone to on purpose for entertainment. What are the reasons for that? And just kind of like, I don't know, digging through it yourself.
I think with short form content, you don't really have to be that interested in it.
True.
It's over in 10 seconds.
Right, exactly.
And you can like, I wasn't that, well, let me go on to the next one.
Right.
But with something that's a little bit longer, whether it's a 15-minute YouTube video or a book or listening to an album, like music, you have to actually have some level of interest in it. It can't just be something that you're like apathetic about.
Yeah.
And so I think it takes a little bit more, I don't know, cognizance during the selection process. I think people sometimes click on YouTube videos like, yeah, that might be interesting, but it's not. You don't end up liking it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think if you had clicked on a 15-minute video that was actually a topic that was very interesting to you, you would watch the whole thing.
Right.
Like we've all read books that we didn't really like and probably didn't really finish or like slogged through for a long time that it took to finish because you really weren't that interested in it anyway.
Yeah. But I guess when I'm choosing a book, I'm more, I don't know, critical of like, oh, I really want to make sure that this is something that I could see myself finishing. Because I have a hard time stopping, even if I hate the book.
Yeah.
I usually will finish the book.
Yeah.
But like what I'm specifically talking about is like YouTube videos that I used to really enjoy, like creators that I know that I like are now, I'm like, oh, 5 minutes in, it's like, okay, this was funny, but like, I want to move on to the next thing, And I don't think that that's the fault of the creator. I think that that's my fault as like my attention span just not even like a conscious fault. Just like I have been fed short form content. That's the algorithm. That's what they're trying to do. So I have to have that moment of like, wait, don't turn it off just yet. You wanted to watch this. Like
watch it.
Exactly.
I have not experienced that I can think of.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting point. Yeah. I wonder if other people have experienced that as well.
I was about to say, if you have comments, because we like comments on this channel, we're going to talk about a bunch of different segments on this podcast. And one of those segments is going to be the one big fitness question of the day. And today I went to Reddit, the fitness Reddit, which is really solid for what it is. I mean, Reddit is kind of a cesspool of opinions, so you've got to be a little careful. But a lot of the specific subreddits, like the fitness subreddit, have great content, and there's a lot of good people that are answering questions on there.
And a lot of good questions being asked.
A lot of great questions. So today we are going to talk about the one big fitness question, and it is from the user Tina's Now-PTOY. Don't know why. Okay. So she's a female. She's 23. She's 160 centimeters and 60 kilograms. She's from across the pond.
Can you translate the measurements? Are the measurements important to the question?
I guess it's a nutrition question. So kind of 160 centimeters. I don't care.
Is she underweight, normal weight, or overweight? Like,
there is no such thing. Like, we don't know. This is what I mean. Even those measurements are going to be, she's giving us those measurements in context to what her calories should be.
Okay.
Right. So 60 kilograms for my American people times 2, that's 125 pounds, maybe. Okay. And she's 160 centimeters, which is
a height.
5 maybe. I don't know. So her TDEE, which is her total daily energy expenditure, is set to sedentary and is 1,600 calories per day. I reduced my calorie intake from 1,336 to 1,250 3 weeks ago because I didn't see any movement on the scale since mid-January. I still haven't seen any movement. Been hovering around 60 kilograms all week. 3 weeks ago, I was between 61 and 62, hoping a fresh set of eyes can see if I missed anything. And then she gives her food intake, which, I mean, she's eating like oats, yogurt, sandwiches, chicken thighs, yogurt again, like nothing overly processed that I would see. You know, I mean, maybe I'll in the description, I'll put exactly what she's eating. It's a lot, so I don't really want to go through it all. But suffice it to say, the food that she's eating is leading to the calories that she put, 1,300, right?
Or down to like 1,200.
1,250 is her weekly average. Just not sure what I'm doing wrong. I'm clearly not in a deficit, but how? I've lost 13 kilograms with calories in, calories out before, so I know how to do it. And I'm not being delusional about what I'm putting in my body. Oftentimes, I'm below my calorie limit for the day because I might skip breakfast or lunch. And I started going to the gym every day 3 weeks ago to bump up my deficit a little bit more. I bought a new food scale, the old one broke, so it's not sure if it's faulty. You know, she goes over all these things. Oh my gosh, man. She talks about, she's measuring things down to the milliliter of milk for her, for her coffee in the morning. I don't know what else to do really. I don't eat rice and potatoes anymore. My dinner is usually meat and fish with veggies on the side or a stir fry with a lot of vegetables in it. TMI, I know I can eat these things, but they make me a bit constipated, which affects my weight. So I don't anymore, right? The only difference between this effort and my last effort was I used my FitnessPal then, and I'm using Lose It now. So a different app. Right. But I'm way more active on a smaller calorie limit now than seeing other people drop 2 to 10 pounds per week is making me so frustrated because I feel like I'm doing more work than them. Any ideas? Okay. So to summarize that, she's reached a weight loss plateau. Mm-hmm. It seems that she's lost weight in the past. She said she lost about 13 kilograms before, but she's reached a weight loss plateau and has continued to cut her calories. Right.
Wow. My
initial thought is you got to eat more.
God, I cannot imagine only eating 1,200 calories. Like, I would be starving all day long.
Again, another disclaimer. We don't know this person.
No.
But let's just imagine this is an avatar. This isn't a real person. Yeah. As a coach, this is my first initial thought, is you have over-dieted. Mm-hmm.
Your body's probably like, oh my God.
We're going to be fast and loose with the science here, right? Okay. Because I don't have the exact citations for papers, so don't crucify me. But there is a moment in a diet where your body is going to do everything that it can to not lose any more weight. Mm-hmm. Because you know why?
You've been there.
Oh God, yes. Body fat is important for your life. Mm-hmm. We do not want to be if this is a female, sub 15% body fat, and that's even pushing it. Some people would say 20. Because you need body fat for hormone health. You need body fat for regulating mood. You need body fat for fighting off infection. Like, it is incredibly important. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're going to use the S word here, society has told us that we need to be at a specific body fat percentage, which is way off, especially on the female side, right? So what I would say, first and foremost, actionable tip, bump your calories up a little bit. Go on a little bit of a diet break. Mentally, it seems like you're burnt out. You are incredibly fatigued mentally here, which can be super, super discouraging. So coming from someone who has dealt with the mental fatigue of a diet, like I dieted for a year and a half.
Yeah, you did.
And I did take some breaks in there,
take some breaks.
but I didn't choose to do it. I literally had mental breakdowns that forced me to take a couple breaks.
And like you hit a wall with your weight loss.
Exactly.
And you got frustrated and you got upset.
Yep.
Kind of like this situation.
Exactly.
And I got to take a break for a couple of weeks, eat at maintenance, and then get back to it.
Yeah.
And that worked for you.
Yeah,
and
it definitely did.
Ultimately, you did achieve your goal.
Yes. I got down to my weight and was happy with that, and then decided to gain some more weight back because I didn't feel very comfortable at that body weight.
Yeah.
That's for later. The main thing here is, and I program this with a lot of my clients, is so there's two ways to look at a diet break. You can be a long-term diet break where you come back up to maintenance, or you can do like a refeed or a dopamine refeed. So a dopamine refeed is one in which you're so burnt out mentally from the same diet foods. It's like what we would traditionally think of as a cheat meal. Now, these can be really dangerous because if you're anything like me, a cheat meal becomes a cheat week. And you kind of just go buck wild and you go a little crazy.
You put on 15 pounds.
Exactly. But if you have a little bit more self-control than your boy, you can do a dopamine refeed, which is where you don't really care about what you're eating. If you want to have a pizza, you have a pizza. You keep it to one meal. And then the next day you have been reinvigorated. Your dopamine levels have been, boosted.
Yeah.
And you're able to go back to the diet food. Now that's one way.
Okay.
The other way, which I think is the way that I usually go about it, because it is still a little bit of control, but it allows you for a little bit of a break energy-wise. It's an energy refeed. So you would up your carbs by a lot.
I like this.
So
I enjoy a carb.
So let's say you've been dieting for a long time, 6 weeks, and you have brought your carbs down to 150 carbs a day, right? And you're just like, your energy in the gym is toast. You've hit a little bit of a plateau. It might be time to do one meal where you add 100 carbs, or one day. Sorry, not a meal. You spread them out throughout the day, but you'd go to 250 carbs after you've been at 150. And then the next day, maybe come down to 175 or 200 and see how your energy level is.
Yeah.
This is not so much a dopamine restorer because it's going to be the same types of food. So if you're eating chicken and rice, you're still eating chicken and rice. You're just eating more
rice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, if you're really dieted down, can feel like manna from heaven. Like that can be like, oh my God, I'm good. And that can give you the push to continue. You have to be really careful with like your numbers there, because there's a lot of times when you can just get fully out of whack. And if you're a competitive bodybuilder or you're a strength athlete, this might not be the best thing. But I'm assuming this person's just trying to get fit and get her lifestyle a little bit better. So you have space. If there's no competition, you can extend this out for like a week, right? That would be my main thing. Now, as someone, I want to get your perspective on this.
Okay.
Because as someone who is not in the space, like I read that and I immediately think, okay, this is a puzzle that we have to fix. I'm wondering if you have more of an emotional response.
I mean, I just heard like 1,200 calories.
Yeah, you freaked out.
So I'm a big snacker.
Yeah.
I am a grazer throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like I have my coffee in bed. I have a small breakfast. I have a morning snack. I have lunch. I have an afternoon snack, and I have dinner. Like I just eat like 6 small meals a day because I don't like being hungry.
Yeah.
And I also don't have a huge appetite unless it's like a special occasion, at which point anybody who knows me can attest that I really can put it away.
Yes.
But anyway.
100%. Yeah. It's incredible to watch.
People are often impressed.
It is incredible.
But anyway, like when I've dieted once or twice in my life, not in any extreme sort of way, but
10 pounds here or there.
Maybe like 5 to 10. And like the lowest I ever went was like 1,700 calories a day. And I was so hungry and it was really hard for me.
Yeah.
And so I hear about somebody who's just like suffering.
Yeah.
And not eating much of anything, and also working out really hard in the gym. And I just think, wow, how burnt out must this person be?
Right.
Like, just from a happiness perspective, we've got to do something different.
And that's a great point, because you got to think about this in terms of like, why are you dieting?
Right.
Are you dieting to lose weight because you think that it will increase your quality of life? If yes, then if you're decreasing your quality of life with the amount that you're dieting, it might be time to stop dieting.
Yeah. Well, and you said she's only around like 130 pounds.
Yeah, she was 60 kilos. So that's 120.
So we're not at a point where like you're very overweight to a point that it's affecting your health.
I would imagine that this person does not have any adverse metabolic health issues from her weight.
Right.
I don't know, but I would imagine.
Right. And we don't know this person. We don't know what her reasons for weight loss are, like you said, but it sounds like she's making herself very miserable.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
You got to keep the priorities. And like literally, why are you dieting? Mm-hmm. If you are dieting to reach a standard of, body fat percentage that you think is appropriate, it might be time to take a step back.
Well, and I just have to say, it's like if you're, putting yourself through this misery to get to a certain very small weight because you think it'll make you happier, it won't.
It won't. 100%. Oh, yes. Say it again.
It won't.
It will not.
Because so she's 130-ish pounds now. Let's say she gets down to 110.
Yep.
She's not going to feel happier. She's going to feel like crap all the time.
I can guarantee you won't notice a difference.
You can't maintain it.
Hell no.
You're going to be constantly anxious about maintaining that weight because it's very high. I mean, it's just... What's the goal? What's the real goal here? What do we really think the outcome is?
I had a mental breakdown once I got to my goal weight.
Mm-hmm.
I did my competition. I was like, I hate it down here. I was weak. I felt lethargic all the time. And that was at 250 pounds, right?
Which for you is very small.
The lowest that I had ever been in my adult life. Mm-hmm. I thought that I looked pretty good.
You did.
But I think I look pretty good now.
You do.
So, you got to...
Everybody has a different set point for their body weight.
And dude,
And you and I are very different.
Exactly.
I'm at my set point right now.
And I don't know where I am. I'm kind of nebulous. I think personally, for me, in terms of like my performance in the gym, I do feel a little bit more sluggish at 300. And I think I would like to see how I feel at 270. Mm-hmm. But I don't give a rat's ass about my aesthetics. I do not care. The only reason that I do care is because as a personal trainer, sometimes potential clients could look at me and say, oh, he's a little overweight. I don't know if this guy knows what,
Yeah.
But in the strength world, nobody really cares about that. It would be more so in the box gym that I work at, not so much in my strength training clients. Like they know what I'm talking about because one, they've seen me compete, and also I know what I'm talking about, you know?
Right.
So I just want, I want this to be a moment of empathy. It's a good question for us to start off with because a lot of people really do reach this level of just like diet burnout.
Yeah.
And you gotta say, okay, maybe it's time for a break.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like she's like choosing healthy, nutrient dense foods, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's okay to have a treat.
Yeah.
I'm all about the little treat lifestyle.
So there's one thing that I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that this person has come and asked these questions and she thinks that she's eating 1,300 calories.
A lot of people. It sounds like she's tracking hers very meticulously.
But we've got to be careful.
Most people are not very meticulous.
It is very hard, as someone who has tracked their intake for years, it is very hard to track everything.
Yes.
Olive oils, random liquid calories, like that stuff starts to add up, and all it takes is 200 to 300 calories to get you out of that deficit and into maintenance.
Yeah.
Which could be another, I want to take her at face value that she's tracking as best as she can.
She might not be tracking, like you said, the olive oil that she cooks the chicken thighs in.
Or
the sauce that goes on things.
That's the stuff when you're very dieted down that really adds up. 150 calories at that level is enough to put her into maintenance and then not be losing weight, right? So there's the emotional side of things. Obviously, we want to be empathetic to this person, but there's also, as a coach, I have to balance between
really make sure that this
are
is an
you
accurate
sure you are tracking your food? Like, come to Jesus, be in the mirror and make sure, because these things add up. So
they certainly do.
Obviously, we want to take a spot of listen, it's tough what you're doing. Maybe it's time to take a break, but also maybe it's time to assess, are you really tracking the way that you're supposed to be tracking? Yeah.
That's a great point.
So, anything else on that fine young lady?
I just hope she's happy.
Yeah, that's the main thing is just, life's too short to not
That's right.
to not fight for your happiness in that case. So
I agree.
it seems like I'm at my happiest when I'm done with a diet, but also when I'm at a level that I can still perform in the gym. Like I'm not at my happiest when I'm completely overweight and losing the ability to be strong.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to find what works for you, which is why we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Because if I tried to answer that question in a reel, it's impossible.
You might as well not even try.
Exactly. Okay. Another segment that I want to do on this podcast is relationship advice, because not to toot our own horns, but we got a pretty good relationship.
We have a great relationship.
We've been together for what, like 12 years? Mm-hmm. And
actually, our 12-year
date anniversary is coming up.
Yeah, in like 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. So
there's a reminder for you, buddy.
We're not perfect. Obviously, no relationship is perfect. No human being is perfect. But we have, we're pretty decent with communication, and we've come to a lot of major life decisions together as a unit.
Well, because we got married very young.
Yes, when we were 21.
Right. So you have a lot of life decisions still to be made at the point where you're 21.
Yes.
So just, because we got together so young, we naturally had to make those decisions together.
We started dating when we were 16? Yeah. So we've made a lot of decisions together.
Yes.
So again, we've gone to the bastion of wisdom that is Reddit. And we're going to take some relationship advice questions. But if you have any relationship advice questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we'll get to them next week. Okay. I have seen this question. Sarah has not. This one made me laugh so hard that I had to do it. Okay. So my boyfriend, male 28, told me, female 22, that I am a poser because I started to listen to Paramore because of him, and that makes him angry. Holy cow. What a banger. He has always listened to rock, and he's getting old, and he's older than me, so he knows much more about rock music. After spending so much time with him since we lived together, I began to like some of the songs that he listens to, Paramore in brackets. And I began to listen, and I began to listen to some when I bathe and when I have free time. I thought that this was good because I felt like we were getting more connected, and I was even thinking about going to a concert together. In a discussion, he told me that I'm a poser and that it makes him angry that I think I'm a rocker that listens to Paramore in 2023. And that has made me feel very sad. Aww. I spent all these months looking stupid in front of him, thinking that he was happy that I liked the same music as him, but deep down, he hates it. Holy cow.
Oh, no.
That made me laugh for 5 straight minutes.
Oh, that makes me feel sad.
Come on. It's so funny. First of all, it's probably not real.
Yeah.
I imagine most of these are not real.
Made up.
Yes, I 100%. So I'm going to treat this as if this is a made up situation.
Okay.
You are a poser. You should have got on to it way earlier. Okay, fine.
But I'm trying to think. So like when we were listening to Paramore, like we're 28. Yes. We're the age of this
We are
boyfriend.
this dude, 28.
So we were, I don't know, 15?
Yeah. We missed the initial boat, honestly.
We did.
Because they started like 2007 was like when they were really...
So if the initial boat of Paramore was when her boyfriend was 12,
yeah,
she would have been 6.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's a good way to put it. Okay.
So what first grader do you know?
I don't know.
Who's listening to the hot new rock and roll
of today? A really sick
today?
first grader, dude. I don't know.
I don't think it's not her fault
right.
that she's younger than him.
Definitely not her fault. This guy seems to be a little bit of a butt.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and also I think part of the joy of like being in a relationship with someone is being able to share your interests, introduce them to something new.
Absolutely.
Because you love movies, for example.
Yes.
I didn't grow up in a movie household.
No, you did not.
It's not that we don't like movies. We just, I don't know. We didn't watch a lot of movies.
I didn't grow up in a movie household either, but I came to movies later on in life.
Your family watches a lot of movies.
Do they?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I do not imagine my family watching.
You guys will watch a movie in like the middle of the afternoon, which to me is completely unfathomable.
Are you kidding me?
We did not.
That's crazy to me. Of course we did. What else are you going to do with your day?
They're a movie household.
Okay, I guess we're a movie household. I'm learning.
But it's been very fun for us to watch movies together. I have been introduced to many movies that I now love because you have showed them to me. Mm-hmm. I was never into Harry Potter growing up,
Dude,
for example. And you introduced me to the books and the movies.
Imagine
and that was fun.
You read all the Harry Potter books and I'm like, you're a poser because
it's you have shown me the book. You lent me the books. You watched the movies together with me. We went together to the premiere in the movie theater of the very last movie, which was the only one that I saw in theaters. Yeah. We went together. It was very fun. And then if after all of that, you're like, God, I can't believe that you got into Harry Potter so late.
You're such a poser.
That disgusts me. Everybody's been into Harry Potter it's like I never read it. I never really wanted to. It was never like something that people, told me I should read when I was like younger and they were
That's so funny.
coming out. And so I would equate it to that. And we had so much fun. And then like we went to Harry Potter World together and it was very fun. I think this guy's a butthead.
Yeah, I'm baffled by this response. Like to me, first of all, calling anybody a poser is just like you're such an idiot. First of all, like
who says that anymore? First of all,
here's the thing: let people like what they like. Like we don't need to. Like that's so stupid. So stupid. But also, for it to be your significant other, and for you to be.
For you to show them, and then you drag them through the dirt.
You're a poser, dude. Like, don't listen to the music.
Well, you're a butthole.
So what's she supposed to do? Put earphones in when he's listening to Paramore on like the record player? It sounds like
he sat her down and said, hey, listen to this music that I like.
I don't think so. I think what happened was because she said, after spending so much time living with him, I began to like some songs that he listens to. So I don't know if it was like, here, listen to this music, like the Harry Potter situation. I think it was like he was playing stuff around the house and she started listening to it and was like, I like this. Like, still really shitty for him to be like, you're a poser, but not as direct as like, here is this thing I like.
Yeah.
And then when you reciprocate that you like it, I call you a poser. That is absurd. I think we're one level down from that.
I say dump him.
Dump him. Oh, you're going the nuclear
dump
option.
Him.
The nuclear
I'm
option.
going that picture of like, is it Britney Spears who's wearing that shirt? Dump him.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel.
I mean,
honestly, just to make somebody who you supposedly love feel this crappy over something like liking a song
made me feel very sad.
Dump him.
Yeah. Okay. I see the dump him angle.
We were just talking about how you should feel happy in life.
Yes, that's true.
Have a conversation about it.
There we go.
And then dump him.
There we go.
It doesn't get better.
My first initial thought is, hey, so-and-so. Excuse me. A little one for the fans back home. Hey, so-and-so. Don't call me a poser, first and foremost. Let's get that out of the way. But also...
because it made me feel this way.
But also... I really thought that this could be something that we could connect over and deepen our shared interests and our relationship.
Have a fun experience by going to a concert together.
Why don't you feel that way? Is your emo culture so important that you don't want to let me in? First of all, I am in the emo culture. And I know everybody's welcome. Come on over, listen to Paramore, even though they've moved away from the emo culture a little bit.
You would give anything for me to love emo music like you do.
Dude, yes. 150%.
Yeah.
I deeply spiritually connect to the emo subgenre of music. Like, I'm a big fan. If I was playing the music and you all of a sudden were like, I really like this song.
This is really great.
The first thing I'm doing is not calling you a poser. I'm like, oh, finally.
I've got so many songs to show you.
Literally.
Oh, you like Paramore now? Let me show you. I can't.
You can't even name one, can you?
Blink-182.
Okay. It's all right. It's on the fringes.
Okay.
They're more skate punk emo in the early genres. It's okay. It's fine.
Have I made you am I a poser?
No, you're not. You're a poser.
I am a poser.
You're not a poser. But exactly. It would be like, here is all this other cool stuff that I really like.
Wow, we have this shared interest that I never could have imagined.
Dude.
How much fun.
Right.
This is fun. This is good news.
This question is fully insane to me.
It is insane.
This is an insane human being.
Yeah.
I'm on the dump him train. Don't even have a conversation. Just leave.
I think you should always have a conversation about things.
Yes, of course. I'm just joking. But like, this is nuts to me.
Well, I really don't think that the person that you're with should make you feel sad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm rereading this.
Okay.
And I think I missed a crucial piece.
Okay.
So this is the year of our Lord 2023.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
As I've just alluded to, Paramore has moved themselves kind of into the pop.
Does she like the new Paramore and he likes the old Paramore?
This is what it looks like. Okay, so
That's
sentence here. He told me that I'm a poser and that it makes him angry that I think I'm a rocker. That who listens to Paramore in 2023? Right? So I think she wrote this weird. But basically, I think what she's trying to say is, who do I think I am to be a rocker if I'm only listening to Paramore in 2023?
I think that's a very ambiguous way of wording it. It could be either way. It could be what we've been talking about.
I found their back catalog from 2007, and I'm just now being introduced to it.
Right.
Or
That's
they
what
like
we've
the
been
new
talking about.
whatever, This Is Why, whatever
I think that
album.
If, for example, you like old original Paramore and I like new Paramore, at that point we do not have a shared interest.
100%.
We do. That is not a shared interest anymore. They are a different band. Fine. I'm not saying that one is good and one is bad,
but they are.
But it is not a shared interest.
Yes. Okay. So then,
in which case, everybody like your own music. You still don't
call him a poser.
You still don't have to be mean.
Yeah, right.
You still don't have to be a butthole.
That should not be the first.
Right?
Oh, dude, they were so. I listened to them before they were cool. They were so much better in their original albums, which is how I feel.
I also feel that way.
But they're still making music. They're still reaching out and touching people.
I don't think their new music is bad.
No, it's just not for me.
It's just not the same style as it was, and that's what we knew, and that's to us that is Paramount. And so, this is like it's a different band, like you said, and I don't know, it's just not the same.
Agreed.
But if she likes that, good for her. Enjoy it.
Okay.
Listen to the music that makes you happy. We don't need to be.
I'm on board.
Mean.
Again. Life is too short.
Dump him. He's not making you happy.
He's not making you happy.
Have a conversation about it.
And then
maybe
dump
try
him.
and get on the same page.
Regardless of what he says, you're leaving. Pack your bags.
Be honest about how you feel and see what he says. But I think this might end up in going your separate ways.
I mean, bold age difference there too. Like I talk to a 22-year-old human being and I'm like, I have no idea who you are as a person. Imagine dating a 22-year-old person. Like I feel like our cultures are just so different.
I think that 22-year-old girls don't want to date 22-year-old boys.
It seems that way.
Because 22-year-old boys might as well be 16 sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it is. 6 years is a significant age
Our
difference.
brains don't develop until we're 25.
Right.
Baseline.
So I don't
And then you could also be a terrible person on top of that. Sure. You know what I mean?
So I don't think it's unreasonable for a younger girl to be with an older guy.
Absolutely not. But I'm saying like for him.
Yeah.
Like
6 years is a significant age difference in your 20s.
Exactly.
The difference,
if they were 36 and 30,
that's
I don't
not
see that much of a difference.
At that point, that's not
but
different.
At 28 and 22 to me feels like, how are you discussing anything with this person? Like you don't live on the same planet. I'm serious. I work with like a 19-year-old and some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I'm like, dude, what is that? Is this a word? Like literally. Yeah. I know I'm like old man screams at clouds, but like that's honestly how I feel. It's crazy. I feel like one night I went to bed and then the next morning I woke up and I was old and I didn't understand the new generation, their newfangled memes. You know?
I have never understood.
Yeah, that's true. You've never been in
I've always been.
There was a moment in my life 40, when I was in it. I was part of the culture,
I was never part of the culture. I am my own culture.
I am no longer in the culture. I'm old.
Welcome.
Well, it feels good. I like being my own person.
I don't mind not being in the culture.
Oh, man. Okay, well.
It's part of my personality.
Wherever you are, find new Paramore person. Listen to their old stuff because it's much better.
It is. But if you don't like it, that's okay too.
We're not going to call you a poser, you know?
It's okay.
Okay. You know what? This has been a lot of fun.
This has been fun.
I want to end the podcast with a little discussion about where we're at in our own fitness journeys.
Okay.
Because, I like giving you guys updates and, maybe you can find some inspiration from the stuff that we're doing or some solace in the fact that I'm once again bigger than I want to be. Welcome to the club. But yeah, so what have you been doing fitness wise since the start of this year?
So I'm going to bring it even farther back.
Oh, we're going back. Okay.
I'm going to take it to like the Q4 of last year, like the whole.
Can you tell she's moved to corporate America? We're in Q4.
But like the back portion of 2022, I was doing no exercise.
Right.
For most of 22, I was doing a great job. Jonah had made me a 4-day-a-week plan. I was doing at least 3 of those days.
Black Bear Barbell coaching.
He's a great coach. You should do it. But I kind of fell off. I don't really know why exactly.
Well, I think the stress of your job. And
I think
the
I
holidays
was very stressed. It was the holidays. We were traveling, and
dude,
then,
if you are a person that continues to like stay on plan over the holidays, you're a machine.
oh my gosh,
I'm a coach and I'm an
bottle
athlete.
that and give it to me.
And I cannot do that.
Yeah.
So if you do that, that's awesome. Like you are a machine.
But I hadn't worked out in months.
Yeah.
And like my job at the time was pretty active, so I was still
walking.
Getting 6,000 steps a day minimum.
Yeah.
Like without even trying. And if I was like, oh, I won't walk today, I would get like 7,000-8,000. But you really encouraged me to get back into exercising this year.
Strength training.
I did experience a minor injury, and Jonah laughs because it is very minor, but I've never been injured before.
True.
I'm not an athlete.
Perspective is everything.
Perspective is very important. But I had a knitting injury,
Dude.
a crochet injury.
Absolutely insane.
Well, so I had a repetitive strain injury.
Yes.
In my arm because I worked very hard and I didn't stretch and take care of
very
myself.
hard. You worked insanely hard, 6 hours a day.
And I don't even have a concept of that.
Right.
I believe you, but it did not feel like 6 hours a day.
Dude, so she was making Christmas presents for everybody out of yarn.
Very cute.
Of some nature. And they all turned out really well. But there was the 2 weeks before we left for Christmas vacation, it was at least 6 hours a day of work spread across the day, right? And you were not doing anything to put yourself in a better posture, stretch, warm up your wrists or anything like that. And so I think that is why.
Well, because I think that's not something that's talked about very much in the
big time
in the yarn community
or in the typing community. Like it's the same type of thing.
Yes. But so I had and the other thing was I was in between jobs.
Yep.
And so I didn't have any health insurance for all of January.
But
and
also
so
you
I
had
haven't
no
gone
stop
to the doctor.
of like anything to take your attention away from knitting or crochet.
Right. Well, the pain started towards the end.
Okay.
So like, while we were traveling for Christmas, I was dealing with it and I kind of dialed back a little bit, but I never stopped completely.
Yeah.
So it didn't get better. And then we got home and I got back to, crafting. And it got to a point like about halfway through January where I was it hurt.
Yeah.
Like it started in my elbow and my forearm and wrist. And it eventually traveled up to like my shoulder and my rotator cuff. And it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so I said, I've got to stop.
Yeah.
I'm done. I have to take a break until I feel better. And I was afraid to get back. I wanted to get back to working out in the new year, but with, having this pain, I was afraid. I thought I had to do total rest.
Yeah. Which I do not subscribe to.
And you encouraged me that actually it would be very helpful if I could do some strengthening of my triceps and my forearm and like my whole body also.
Movement is medicine. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
You gotta do what you can. Obviously, you don't want to continue the strain that was injuring you.
Right.
But you got to do, just putting it in traction and never moving your arm is not going to do anything to help you.
So yeah, for the last like 6 or 7 weeks, I've been stretching and doing nerve glides for my arms. And then the last 3 weeks, I've been back to my, 4 days a week of your exercise plan that you've made me.
Yes.
And I feel really good.
You're doing good.
I feel really good. And this past week, I've been able to do a few 10-minute spurts of, crafting again.
Yeah.
So
I think that
I've come a long way.
You have. The job has helped a lot because now you can work out on your lunch break.
Yes.
Because you're at home.
Yes.
So that's really cool.
It's great.
And you're not a gym person, so you work out here, which is great. Like I built you something that you can do at home where, listen, people think that when I say strength training, they think that it's like, oh, get under like 500 pounds. No. Strength training is resistance training. It is resisting a force trying to move you to adapt your muscles to that
I do
force.
a lot of body weight exercises.
Body weight stuff.
Resistance
bands. Small like dumbbells that we've bought. That's really all you need. You know, like you don't have to completely revolutionize like the way that you're going about your day. So there's that. So I'm really proud of you for doing that type. Like I read a bunch of research about how important maintaining muscle is for general health as you age. And obviously we're not at that point where it's like, we're going to take a fall.
We are almost 30.
But we are almost 30. So life's coming to an end pretty soon.
Yeah.
But it's important to set the foundation now and build upon that. So I'm proud of you and happy that you're doing that.
But yeah, I would like to say when you have an injury, you should go to the doctor.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I did not because like I said, I didn't have health insurance at the time. I do have health insurance now and I do need a physical. So it might be something that I bring up.
Hey, what's going on?
But ideally I would have gone to the doctor in January when it was really bad.
I guess, but like the other like I'm very doctor averse. It's a negative thing for me, but you can find a lot of stuff online.
Well, and that's what I ended up having to do.
Yeah.
I found some great knitting and crochet centered websites that had different recommendations for stretches. Now, I will say there are a lot of things that could have been the problem. I think I narrowed it down to one or two things that it might have been, and I don't want to say them because I'm not a doctor.
Right. You don't want to self-diagnose.
It's not good. So I just did kind of a wide range of just general non-disease or problem specific stretches.
Which is usually what you need to do.
Right.
You know? So,
and I think resting from the irritating activity is probably the most important thing that I did.
Yes. I agree that taking away the initial stimulus that was causing the pain and replacing that with movement that was supposed to
that was supportive movement. Yeah.
I think that's great.
So yeah. So I'm working out again consistently.
Nice job.
For the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I feel much better than I did 6 weeks ago.
Good work.
Thank you.
Like I said, I just finished a dirty bulk. I'm going to make a video about my experience. It was crazy. I'm not going to say too much about it because I want you to watch the video. But I do not have any powerlifting competitions on the books right now. The USPA, which was the federation that I used to compete in, has exploded. They had a massive harassment scandal and didn't do anything to solve that. And so I have canceled my membership. Screw you guys. Fix your stuff. So I'm looking for a new federation. I am not taking any compounds right now, so I can compete tested in a tested federation. So I might do that. I might join another one of the untested federations. I don't know. I really enjoy training. Don't really love competing, but I only did it the one time. So I want to give it another chance. But the competition day was a little bit piss. If you watch the video, you know it did not go very well. I want to give myself another shot, but I am not putting a timeline on it. I am not working with a coach right now either. I'm doing my own programming, a mix of like a program that I've bought and some information that I've gotten about powerlifting. And I'm just trying to keep my chops of program building up. So I'm doing it myself, basically, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think you're one of the rare people who like really loves going to the gym.
I love the process, man.
You don't do it because it's something that's important and healthy for you to do. You do it because you genuinely enjoy it.
I like being in the space. I like progressing, even if it's 5 pounds. I like seeing the other people progress. Like just the culture of the gym is what really like gets me going. That's why I like coaching a lot more than I like competing.
Because you get to just be in the gym.
Yeah, I just get to hang out and shoot the breeze with my clients and, you know, hopefully make them better. So that's where I'm at. And I'm also in a little bit of a cut right now. It's very loose. I'm still trying to repair my relationship with food, and that's going to be an ongoing process for the rest of my life.
Sure.
But I'm, going to come back down to 275 pounds will be my new weight class whenever I do decide to compete. So that's just a general 10,000 foot view of where I'm at. And if you continue to follow the channel, you'll see, both of us continue to make progress in our own fitness journeys.
Yeah. You complimented my muscles just the other day.
Dude, you're strong right now.
Yeah.
You are strong. You've always been strong mentally and emotionally, but now you're getting physically strong.
That's right. So watch out, everyone.
Yeah, she's going to be the triple threat. All right. We're going to call it there.
All right.
This was a great first episode back. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun doing it. We're going to try and make this a more regular thing on the channel with the topics. If you guys have any weekly segments that you want us to add into the podcast, we'd love to hear from you. We want this space to be kind of a question and answer spot.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we will get to them, because I want to make this channel more of a community rather than just me throwing information at you. I want to hear from you guys as well. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. You know, I don't really do a lot of that on my regular videos, but here it's
do it.
longer form content. So we'd really appreciate it if you subscribed, share the podcast around. We're doing it just in video format right now, but hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to get an audio version. If you want to just listen to it, that will be coming soon as well. Anything to say to the people?
Thanks for coming. We love you.
We love you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.